What if the Bible held secrets that could change everything you know? We are about to take a journey through time and faith in a quest for knowledge hidden within the ancient pages of the Bible. Today we embark on a fascinating exploration of 5 prophecies, their meanings veiled, their implications profound. These are not the prophecies often discussed, but rather secrets whispered through the ages, waiting to be understood. Prepare yourself, for the words of the prophets have echoed through millennia, and their messages resonate with a power that can still shape our understanding of the world and perhaps even our destiny. Let us begin and see what wonders await us. Our first stop takes us to the book of Isaiah, a prophet who walked the earth centuries before the birth of Christ. In his writings, we discover a passage shrouded in sorrow, a prophecy that speaks of a figure known as the suffering servant.
He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, Isaiah tells us.
His words paint a vivid, agonizing portrait of one destined for pain, one who would bear the weight of our transgressions. This is no triumphant king, no conquering hero. This is a figure of humility bearing the burdens of humanity. But why? What could be the purpose of such suffering? Isaiah's words are stark, his imagery unsettling. He speaks of the servant being led like a lamb to the slaughter, innocent and yet condemned. This imagery is powerful, evocative. It speaks to a sacrifice of immense magnitude, a life offered willingly for the sake of others.
For centuries, these verses remained an enigma, a mystery pondered by scholars and believers alike. Who was this suffering servant? What was the meaning of his anguish? The answer, as we shall see, lies at the very heart of Christian theology.
With the coming of Jesus, a new understanding of Isaiah's prophecy began to emerge. Christians saw in Jesus the fulfillment of the suffering servant's role. His life, his teachings, his ultimate sacrifice on the cross, all resonated with the words of Isaiah.
Here was the one wounded for our transgressions, the one bruised for our iniquities.
The concept of a Messiah who suffers, who takes upon himself the sins of the world, is a powerful one. It speaks to a God who understands our pain, our weaknesses, our failings. It is a message of hope and redemption, born out of profound sacrifice. The prophecy of the suffering servant is not merely a historical curiosity. It is a living testament to the power of faith, the depth of God's love, and the enduring hope for salvation. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, even in the face of unimaginable suffering, there is the possibility of redemption, of healing, of new life. The legacy of the suffering servant continues to inspire and challenge us today. It calls us to embrace compassion, to stand with the marginalized, to offer ourselves in service to others. For in the words of Isaiah, we find a timeless message of hope and love, a message that transcends time and circumstance. Our journey now takes us to the book of Daniel, a prophet who found himself a captive in a foreign land, a man of God in the court of kings. It was in a dream that Daniel received a vision, a glimpse into the future, a panorama of empires yet to come.
He saw 4 beasts, monstrous and strange, emerging from a tumultuous sea.
The first was like a lion with eagle's wings, a symbol of power and swiftness. Then came a bear, lumbering and fearsome, its teeth bared in a perpetual snarl. These were not mere creatures of the night. They were harbingers of history, symbols of kingdoms yet to rise and fall. Daniel's vision was vivid, its symbolism potent.
Each beast, he was told, represented a different kingdom, a different era in the grand tapestry of human history. The lion with eagle's wings, scholars believe, symbolized the Babylonian Empire, known for its might and its rapid conquests. The bear, with its insatiable hunger, represented the Medo-Persian Empire, which devoured its enemies and expanded its borders relentlessly.
But the vision did not end there. Two more beasts emerged from the sea, each more terrifying than the last. A leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads, representing the swift conquests of Alexander the Great. And finally, a beast unlike any other, dreadful and terrible, with iron teeth and 10 horns, a symbol of an empire yet to come, an empire that would leave its mark on the world in ways both awe-inspiring and devastating. Daniel's vision was not merely a history lesson, it was a glimpse into the future, a prophecy that would unfold over centuries. And as empires rose and fell, as history marched on, the accuracy of his vision became strikingly clear. The Babylonian Empire, the lion with eagle's wings, was conquered by the Medes and Persians, just as Daniel had foreseen. Alexander the Great, the swift leopard, swept across the ancient world, leaving a legacy of conquest in his wake. And then came Rome, the fourth beast, the empire of iron and blood. Its legions marched across continents, its emperors ruled with an iron fist. It was an empire unlike any the world had ever seen, just as Daniel had prophesied. Daniel's vision of the 4 beasts is a powerful reminder that history is not random, that even in the rise and fall of empires, there is a plan, a purpose, a divine hand at work.
It speaks to the enduring power of prophecy, the ability to see beyond the present moment and glimpse the contours of the future. And while the empires of old have long since crumbled, the message of Daniel's vision remains relevant today. It reminds us that power is fleeting, that empires rise and fall, and that ultimately, it is God who holds the fate of nations in his hands. It is a message that echoes through the ages, a timeless reminder of the sovereignty of God and the ultimate triumph of his kingdom.
In the book of Ezekiel, we find a chilling vision, a tableau of desolation and despair.
The prophet Ezekiel, exiled in Babylon, is brought by the Spirit to a valley, but not just any valley. This valley is a place of death, a wasteland littered with the remnants of a forgotten hope.
The prophet finds himself standing on a vast plain, and as far as the eye can see, the ground is littered with them. Bones, bleached white by the sun, countless in number, silent testament to a terrible tragedy. The air hangs heavy with the dust of decay, a silence so profound it seems to scream.
This is the valley of dry bones, a potent symbol of hopelessness and despair, a stark reminder of the frailty of life and the inevitability of death. The sheer scale of the scene is overwhelming, the silence deafening.
Ezekiel, a man who has seen his people suffer, who knows the sting of exile and the pain of loss, must have felt a profound sense of despair at the sight before him. But amid the silence, a question echoes. Can hope be rekindled in a place that seems to have forgotten its very meaning? As Ezekiel surveys this desolate scene, a voice, the voice of God, breaks the silence. He is commanded to prophesy, to speak to the dry bones. Imagine the sheer audacity of this command, to speak life into that which is undeniably dead.
But Ezekiel, a man of faith, a conduit for the divine, obeys. He calls out to the dry bones, his words echoing strangely in the stillness of the valley. And then, something miraculous begins to happen. A rustling sound, a shifting in the dust, as the bones begin to move, to draw together.
Bone connects to bone, joint to joint, the clatter growing louder, more insistent. Sinews appear, then flesh, covering the skeletal forms, and still the transformation continues. Skin stretches, taking on the hues of life, but the valley remains eerily silent. The reassembled bodies stand motionless, an army of the dead, poised on the precipice of existence.
The miracle unfolding before Ezekiel's eyes is a testament to the power of faith and obedience. But it is also a promise, a glimmer of hope in the face of overwhelming despair. For even in the valley of dry bones, life can find a way.
The transformation from dry bones to assembled bodies is astonishing, but it is incomplete. The valley, though no longer a scene of stark death, remains eerily still. The silence, once oppressive, now carries a different weight, the anticipation of a promise yet to be fulfilled. Once more, God speaks, commanding Ezekiel to call upon the wind, the ruach, the very breath of life. And as Ezekiel prophesies, a wind sweeps through the valley, a rush of invisible force that breathes life into the assembled bodies. The effect is instantaneous and breathtaking. The assembled bodies, once still and lifeless, now teem with life. Eyes open, chests heave with the intake of breath, and the valley, once a symbol of death, reverberates with the sound of life reborn. This potent image, the valley of dry bones resurrected, carries with it a profound message of hope and restoration. It speaks to the power of God to breathe life into even the most desolate of circumstances, to bring forth hope from the ashes of despair.
The miracle in the valley is not merely a spectacle, a display of divine power. It carries a deeper meaning, a message of hope directed at the Israelites, a people in exile.
God's message is clear. Just as the dry bones were given new life, so too will the Israelites be restored. They will rise from the ashes of their despair, their nation reborn.
They will return to the land promised to their forefathers, a testament to the enduring power of faith. The Valley of Dry Bones serves as a powerful metaphor for the cycle of death and rebirth.
The Book of Daniel, a tapestry woven with dreams and visions, holds a prophecy that has captivated scholars for centuries. It's known as the 70 Weeks Prophecy, delivered to Daniel by the angel Gabriel.
This prophecy, shrouded in symbolic language, speaks of 70 weeks, marking significant events in the history of God's people.
Imagine a divine calendar where time is measured in prophetic weeks, each carrying the weight of years.
These weeks are about redemption, the restoration of God's people, and the coming of a promised Messiah. Now, to understand this prophecy, we must first crack the code, decipher the language of symbolism that shrouds its message. The 70 weeks are divided into 3 distinct periods: 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and a final week. Each period, a piece of the puzzle, contributes to the grand tapestry of God's plan.
The first period, 7 weeks, speaks of a time of restoration, a rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem, a return to order after a period of exile. It's a time of hope, of new beginnings, a sign that God had not forgotten his people.
Then comes the 62 weeks, a longer period that follows the rebuilding. This period, scholars believe, points to the time between the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the coming of the Messiah. It's a time of waiting, of anticipation, a time where God's people would long for the fulfillment of his promises.
And finally, we arrive at the most intriguing part of the prophecy, the final week, a single week set apart, a time of tribulation and ultimate triumph. This week, it is believed, signifies the time of the Messiah's ministry, his sacrifice, and the ultimate victory over sin and death.
The 70 Weeks prophecy isn't just about historical events, it's about a person, a promised deliverer, the Messiah.
The timing of the Messiah's arrival is intricately woven into the fabric of this prophecy, pointing to a specific moment in history.
According to the prophecy, the Messiah would appear after the 69 weeks, meaning after the 7 weeks of rebuilding and the 62 weeks that followed. This detail, so specific, so precise, has led many scholars to believe that the prophecy accurately predicted the coming of Jesus Christ.
See, when we examine the historical timeline, we find that the events of Jesus' life align remarkably with the time frames laid out in the 70 Weeks prophecy. His ministry, his death, his resurrection, all seem to fit within this prophetic framework.
This remarkable alignment between prophecy and history has strengthened the faith of many, for it reveals a God who is in control of time, a God who keeps his promises, a God who orchestrates the unfolding of history according to his divine plan. But the 70 Weeks prophecy doesn't end there. It also speaks of a final week, a time of great tribulation, a time when the world will face unprecedented challenges. This final week, separated from the previous 69, is seen by many as a glimpse into the future, a foreshadowing of the end times. This final week, according to the prophecy, will be marked by the rise of a powerful figure, a ruler who will make a treaty with many nations, only to break it and unleash a time of great suffering upon the world. It's a sobering thought, a reminder that the story is not yet over, that there are still chapters to be written. But even in the midst of this tribulation, the prophecy offers hope. It speaks of the Messiah's ultimate triumph, of his returning glory, of the establishment of his eternal kingdom. It's a reminder that darkness, no matter how pervasive, will never overcome the light. The 70 weeks prophecy, with its intricate timeline and its message of hope and judgment, stands as a testament to the sovereignty of God, a reminder that he holds the future in his hands. The book of Revelation, the final book of the Bible, unveils a cosmic battle, a struggle between good and evil that transcends time and space.
At the heart of this drama, a mysterious woman and a terrifying dragon, locked in a conflict that will determine the fate of the world. The woman, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars, represents something divine.
The dragon, a monstrous creature with 7 heads and 10 horns, embodies everything opposed to God. He is the ancient serpent, the devil, Satan himself, seeking to devour the woman and her offspring.
The woman representing good and the dragon representing evil, their destinies intertwined in a cosmic struggle.
The dragon, filled with rage, unleashes his fury upon the woman, seeking to destroy her and her child.
He spews water from his mouth like a flood, attempting to sweep her away, to silence her voice.
But the earth comes to her aid, swallowing the flood, protecting her from the dragon's wrath.
The dragon's fury, though fierce, has ultimately been thwarted.
The dragon, defeated but not deterred, continues his pursuit of the woman. She flees into the wilderness, to a place prepared for her by God, where she is nourished and protected for a time, times, and half a time.
This wilderness, a place of solitude and safety, represents a time of refuge for God's people, a period of respite from the dragon's attacks. This period of refuge, however, is not a time of idleness or complacency. It is a time of preparation, a time of spiritual growth, a time to draw closer to God and strengthen our faith for the battles that lie ahead.
The dragon, unable to reach the woman in her place of refuge, turns his attention to the rest of her offspring, those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus Christ. He wages war against them, seeking to deceive and destroy them. This war, fought not with physical weapons but with spiritual ones, is a battle for hearts and minds. The dragon, the master deceiver, uses lies and temptations to lead people astray, to turn them away from the truth. But the story doesn't end there. The woman, empowered by God, stands her ground, her faith unwavering. She represents the ultimate triumph of good over evil, the victory that is promised to all who remain faithful to the end.
The dragon, defeated and cast down, is ultimately prevented from harming the woman and her offspring. This final victory, a cause for great rejoicing, marks the end of the dragon's reign of terror. It is a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will always come. The forces of evil, though powerful, are no match for the Almighty.
The prophecy of the woman and the dragon, a tale of cosmic conflict and ultimate victory, offers a message of hope and encouragement to all who face trials and tribulations. It reminds us that even in the midst of darkness, God is with us, fighting for us, and ultimately securing our victory. It is a call to persevere, to stand firm in our faith, and to never lose hope, for the final victory belongs to the Lord.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hidden prophecies of the Bible. We've explored ancient texts, deciphered symbolic language, and uncovered messages that have resonated through centuries. From the suffering servant of Isaiah to the cosmic battle of Revelation, we've witnessed the unfolding of God's plan, his heart for humanity, and his ultimate victory over evil. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into ancient scriptures. Your support helps us continue to create content that explores the mysteries of the past and their impact on our present and future. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we will continue to explore the mysteries of the past and their impact on our present and future. Until then, may the wisdom of the ages guide you, and may the hope of prophecy inspire you.